Hey folks, Copperthumb here. If you're 3D modeling for 3D printing specifically, these 5 modifiers are so powerful you're going to be using them all the time. 90% of your workflow will be made up from these 5 modifiers, and of course, number 5 is especially powerful, and you're going to want to see this. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, folks, first up is the mirror modifier with this cube. I'm just going to delete half of this cube by going into X-ray mode, grabbing those half, hit X, delete the faces, and now I have half a cube. Now, the mirror modifier works in an incredible way where it's literally just going to mirror that on whatever axis I choose. So if I hit generate mirror, and then I mirror it on the y-axis, you'll see now that we have this cube. Now, the most important things to remember with the mirror modifier is the axis that you are mirroring it on. And then if I have merge selected, it means these edges that touch will merge together, making a whole object, which is fantastic. The other thing to note is clipping. With clipping off, if I grab this and I sort of grab it, if I go over the axes, you'll see that they can pass over each other. Now, if I put clipping on and do that same thing, you'll see that when they touch, they won't go past each other, which is usually what we want. Not in all cases, but this is very helpful. And that is the mirror modifier. Yeah, practice this and you will be way ahead of anyone else 3D modeling who's just getting started. Next up is the Solidify modifier, which also does exactly what it sounds like. If I have this cube and I delete the top, if you've done my deck box video or many of my videos, I use the Solidify modifier all the time. I have this empty box, but if I tried to 3D print this, it would not print because there is no volume to the sides. We can see them, but there's no thickness at all, so there's nothing to print. The Solidify modifier essentially adds thickness to our model. So if I go generate and solidify, you'll see there's a thin edge there. If I increase the thickness, you'll see now that I can add some thickness to this model. And then the offset, it goes from -1 to 1. That basically means whether it's inside or outside of the original shape. And then I can also make an even thickness. I can get rid of the fill, so we can create 2 boxes there if I wanted to build from there. And I can also do like an only rim fill there as well, but we don't want that normally. So yeah, usually just even thickness and fill is good. And then yeah, and you can alter the thickness to make it as thick as you want. And then when you apply this modifier and then go into it, you'll see now that it creates all of this beautiful geometry for us. Really helpful tool, really, really useful. Yeah, please give this a practice. Let me know what you think. All right, folks, next to talk about is the screw modifier. So what I'm going to do is add a plane in really quickly, and I am going to subdivide this, and then I'm going to grab, with edge select mode on, I'm going to grab these edges, all these edges except this one edge. So boop, 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 and then let's go delete edges. So I'm left with just this here. Cool. Now with side view on, let's do a proper side view here by hitting 3. And then go 1, and I'm going to grab that little point, and I'm going to start extruding this up, and I'm going to make like a kind of fun, weird vase shape here. Look at that, and then bring that up there. So I got this weird line, but the cool thing about the screw modifier is it kind of works like a digital lathe. Now, if I add the screw modifier, you will see that it is going to take that shape and then run it 360 around the central axis. Boom, making this kind of cool goblet shape. So this is pretty much my one-stop shop for making any kind of cups or plant pots or vials or anything like this, treating it like a digital lathe. And then with the modifier we just talked about, the Solidify modifier, we can add a little bit of thickness to this. And you'll see here, if we only want half the shape, you'll see that because it does a full 360 around that axis, if I was to change this to 180, you'll see that it does half the shape. So you could also, if you wanted to manipulate just this one side and then add a mirror modifier to that, you absolutely could. So as you'll see, as you learn all these modifiers, you can start using them all in tangent with one another and create more interesting shapes. And this will become part of your normal workflow. So yeah, that's the screw modifier. Okay, next up is the array modifier. The array modifier is super powerful because let's say I have a model I'm making that has lots of the same part over and over again, and then I might want to make a change to one of those parts and have it affect all of them. Well, we can do that with the array modifier. So taking this little goblet that we've made as our example, we can add in an array, and you'll see right away that it creates 3 along a line. Now, if I edit this first one, whoop, you'll see that it edits all of them. So super powerful, super versatile. Now I can add these in a line, and you'll see that they are adding on here on the x-axis, this red line. So if I increase the count, it's going to add them along there. I can decrease the count, let's say 5. I can also do them in a circle. Now, and just if I grab this here, you'll see that they are arraying in a circle. And if I increase, so you can create amazing things with this and quite complex shapes. And then if you apply these and connect them together, as you can see, it's incredibly powerful. I use it all the time, as you will too. So yeah, learn how to use this, add it to your workflow, and you'll be flying. And last but not least, and easily the most powerful modifier you will use is the Boolean modifier. Now, if I duplicate this cube and bring this out, so we have 2 here, what I can do is if I add a Boolean modifier with difference selected, and then I click this cube here, now when I intersect these cubes, if I hide this cube, you will see that I'm using it to cut into this cube. Now, this is so powerful for easily making holes, different shapes, you know, and it's unbelievably great. I mean, you have to watch yourself with high poly models because sometimes it can get a little bit, it doesn't always work perfectly. The Boolean modifier is definitely something that you have to kind of tweak and play with, but you can change the solver from exact to float. Also, what we can do is we don't just have to do difference. We can also, if I change this to union, you'll see that it now creates this shape. This cube is still hidden, but it has now attached itself to this cube. So I can easily meld 2 objects together, which for 3D modeling, for 3D printing is super, super helpful. And the final one is intersect. Now, intersect will take the middle part of those 2 models and give us that. So this is that space between those 2 cubes that we just pushed together. As you can imagine, the Boolean modifier is so, so helpful and so useful. So I really recommend playing around with this as well as all the other modifiers. And yeah, those 5 modifiers they're going to be 90% of your workflow, 95% of your workflow. So get comfortable with them and you are going to be a pro 3D modeler in no time at all. And there you have it, folks. 5 modifiers that I use to make stuff like this and stuff like this. So if you're interested in that, check out my tutorials. I have 3D modeling, 3D design tutorials, all beginner friendly and bite-sized. You can check them out in my playlist, or please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm releasing new videos every Friday. I've been Copperthumb. You've been awesome. I'll see you in the next one.